Welcome back after the coffee break, and it is my pleasure now to invite the next speaker and presenter, Margareta Usovsky. She is Director of Organization and Administration of NCH Advisors Representative Office in Moldova. Margareta has a broad experience in multinational companies with various cultures. She also has a life experience that brought her in the past few years uh, to study, research, and inspire others to develop, to discover new talents, new horizons. And having said that, in the past 2 years, Margareta attended an intense program of coaching, training, and today Margareta would like to tell us how we could improve the working standards and conditions, bringing at the same time work and life balance through coaching. So, Margareta, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you today, having this opportunity to learn and to study with you and to share with you together at this beautiful conference. Coaching is more than a skill. It is a new leadership style that helps bring out the best in people and create value all around. Let's see what coaching is and a few things it does, and think how it increases the resourcefulness and the results in the workplace, and how it contributes to creating meaningful lives. I'm inviting you to make yourself comfortable and to reflect through what I'm going to share with you from the perspective of the leadership roles that you have in your life, either as the leader of an organization, of a company, or a colleague, or a partner, or a parent, and most of all, as the leader of your own life. Everyone is gifted. Only few open the package. You have enormous, powerful internal resources. You just need to be confident of that. Look inside yourself with genuine interest, discover your own great potential, and use and grow it. In accordance with the authors of the co-active coaching book, Changing Business, Transforming Lives, coaching is chiefly about discovery, awareness, and choice. It is a way of empowering people to find their own answers, encouraging and supporting them on the path as they continue to make important, life-changing, and life-giving choices. In a coaching partnership, the coach is the expert into the process, and the coachee is the expert into the content. Put it in a nutshell, this means that the coach is prepared professionally to organize the process, to use various coaching models and techniques and tools, to ask questions, and the coachee is the person responsible for coming up with all the insights. Well, I cannot say the word responsible, but maybe it's not the best one to be used in this context. But what I mean is that within this process, the coach does not provide any content besides the questions that the person is asking. However, all the content, all the answers, all the insights, the ideas are coming up as the result of that from the coachee. So basically, the coach helps the coachee to look inside, to expand their mind, to broaden their understanding of the specific situation and of themselves, to find clarity, to see and understand what blocks them, what sabotages them, to find their internal resources, and with that new understanding and learning about themselves, to move forward in making great choices and to move towards reaching their goal and producing favorable outcomes. In this reflective thinking process, the coachee comes up with all the insights, all the answers, all the ideas, and usually people come up with great new learnings indeed about themselves and about their internal resources. The coach also inspires the coachee to new heights and also challenges the coachee to think of ways of how to be committed and to stay committed to implement the plan that that he or she came up to during the coaching conversation, and how to follow the plan and how to implement it and how to follow their dreams. Coaching guides towards the positive and the possible, helping the person moving from the loss frame to a gain frame. What this means is that it helps the person to move from the status of thinking that that particular situation is not possible to be resolved to the status of being sure and certain and confident that with the internal resources that the person has, he or she may resolve the situation. So moving from the impossible to possible, and from not being positive to the positive. So the coach works with an individual or the team and helps them walk through the natural states of their fears that they have and insecurities, and towards an openness to new possibilities. Coaching also creates shifts in perspectives and enables deep and sustainable change. There is a saying which I love, and I want to share it with you too. So it's, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Well, while coaching is not about teaching, the coach creates a space where the person comes up with new understandings and new learnings. And as coaching is not directive, the coach does not provide suggestions, nor does the coach lead the way, as I also mentioned earlier. So this means that the coach does not give the fish to the person, to the coachee. Thus, the coachee comes up with all the learnings and understandings of how to move forward by themselves, and this helps create a lasting and a sustainable change, because the person comes up to that conclusion and to that new ideas of how to move forward all by themselves. And in this situation, they feel committed, they feel empowered, they feel the ownership of that decision or that choice that they made, and they feel that that's the right way for them, and that's lasting. That's lasting for a longer time, rather than giving the people the solution or the fish to that specific situation, which resolve it just for that moment. One very important component of coaching is active listening. It's listening with all your senses, listening to what is being said and what is not being said, listening beyond words, with your eyes, with your ears, with everything that you have that helps you to listen and see and understand. Listening without judgment, without assumptions, and supporting the person to express their thoughts while considering the person's context, identity, experiences, beliefs, everything that the person lives through at that very specific moment. That's what I wanted to share with you. Yeah, so coming back to active listening, the inner journey of learning to listen actively to others begins from taking time and learning to listen to ourselves and becoming aware of what we are listening for. So, what are the self-talks that are taking place within us? What are those values that we are listening and we are able to hear within ourselves. What is that purpose, that sense of purpose that we are able to hear? And I'd love to ask you to go through a small exercise. So take a few moments and think, how do you listen to yourself? How do you listen to others? As for me, let me share with you that when I started my coaching journey about 2 years ago, and I signed up for the first course, which I had, the program with CMA from Singapore, I coach Masters Academy from Singapore, I was thinking that I was appreciating myself, that I'm listening quite well. And when we started the practice hours with our peer students and faculty staff, in going through the process of being a coach, I realized and I thought that, maybe I'm not listening to quite everything. And from that point on, the meaning of listening changed for me. And I'm still learning and I'm still growing in this respect. And it's fabulous. It's really a tremendous transformation which happens. And I feel that life became much more intense and I can hear from form and hear a lot of things which I was not hearing before. That is absolutely beautiful. As by the model transformational leadership, active empathetic listening is considered to be a powerful social skill that impacts positively others, as well as supports better leadership and organizational performance. Another very useful approach in coaching that can be used in every situation in our lives is asking open-ended questions. You know, there are closed questions and there are open questions. As you most probably know, closed questions are the ones which have a yes or no answer. An open question, though, generates reflective thinking and looking outside the box. Asking, a powerful open-ended question is like sending the coachee not to a specific destination, but in a direction filled with possible discoveries. So let's look at a comparison. Basically, one may think the same question, but let's see how it impacts, the thinking and what possibilities to generate reflective thinking and a further conversation they produce. So the question, do you have limiting beliefs that hold you back? Compared to the question, what limiting beliefs are you aware of that may hold you back? What do you feel when thinking about these two questions and answers to them? I'm leaving you to reflect over them at a later time as well. Coaching is empowering. Responsibility versus responsibility. Coaching helps people to build their ability to respond to situations and assume responsibility for that. Coaching helps to be mindful of ourselves and of the thoughts and feelings that we experience as the result of internal and external stimuli. It involves groundedness and mindfulness, and the ability to be consciously and deliberately choosing our responses with intention and care. For example, somebody did something around you, something happened in your close proximity. What are your reactions to that? What do you think about it? I mean, that's a stimuli coming from outside, that thing that happened. So how do you feel about it? What do you think? What are your emotions? How do you respond to that? Do you respond immediately? Or do you take some time shortly to explore all those reactions that you have within yourself, the experiences that you have in response to that stimuli, and only later respond to them in a conscious and intentional way? Thinking in a broader context, we have given the responsibility to make ourselves happy, to fix us, to cure us, to other people. Coaching gives the power back to people. It helps people to identify and unleash their potential. It helps to increase their self-confidence, to be courageous, to take action, and to assume responsibility for their results, success, and happiness. It brings power back to people. Within a coaching approach, when people feel empowered, they are more committed as they believe from the bottom of their mind in what they choose to do. Because it was their decision, and once the person decides by themselves, that's deeper there inside their soul, and they stay committed to it, and they feel empowered, and they do everything possible to implement that because it was their decision rather than being told by somebody else. Coaching also cultivates trust and a sense of belonging. You know, within a coaching conversation, the coach creates a supportive environment full of trust and free of assumptions and judgment. And there, the person can open themselves and talk in an open way and look through and into themselves. People don't care what you know before they know that you care. Let's look a little bit more into this. I'm sorry, I'm having an issue with the monitor. My computer is not. Yes, now it's working. Great, thank you. Okay, so coming back to where we stopped. Yeah, so let's see what this means. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. According to the self-determination theory of Edward Deci and Rich and Ryan, there are 3 fundamental needs that people have to have met for them to feel fulfilled. And this is particularly true in the workplace, everywhere actually, but specifically looking at the workplace. So these 3 needs that people need to have met for them to feel fulfilled is autonomy, having that sense of independence, competence, knowing that they are good at and they know and they have the knowledge for the area that they are responsible for, and relatedness, that sense of belonging. You know, in the Maslow pyramid as well, love and belonging, as you know, is one of the basic needs that people have, that relatedness. So coming back to what we thought earlier, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. How important is that feeling of belonging and relatedness? By fostering organizational trust, you can improve productivity and energy, motivation and performance levels, improve collaboration, and cultivate a happier and more loyal workforce. Coaching also helps people to reconnect with their true core values. It's not by chance that we are called human beings. and not human doings. Knowing deeply inside what our true core values are and honoring them, being guided by them, we can stay more focused and we can make more conscious choices in our lives and then enjoy the results and live a sense of fulfillment and, moments of happiness here and there. For example, when a person decides upon a career move to take, staying connected and being guided by their core values helps the person make a decision in favor of a job that will then later give them a sense of fulfillment, satisfaction, because they will do something that would be in alignment with their true core values. How amazing is that? Coaching helps people get in touch with their life purpose. Mark Twain once said, "The two most important days into your life is the day when you were born and the day when you found out why." When you find out your why, that's when you start to grow up success in your life. Because when you know your why, you start to get your passion, the sticking to it, the creativity that you need. If you hire people for what you do, they will work for you for money. But if you hire people for the greater experience of why you do it, and they know that, they will work for you for being part of that greater experience. That why. I can talk about coaching for a long time because this is such a broad and beautiful topic. But being mindful of the time that we have together, I'll just give a summary of what coaching does, and I'll let you think over how these things can contribute into creating and enhancing resourcefulness and results into your life, into the workplace, and how they can contribute to creating beautiful lives and meaningful lives in general. So coaching helps people learn about themselves and increase their self-confidence, their engagement. It empowers and increases people commitment and ownership. Coaching also helps develop productive mindset and skills. It also helps take action on the learnings made. It helps create trust and a sense of relatedness, of belonging. It creates energy and motivation to succeed. It also helps people to reconnect with their true core values and with their sense of purpose in their life, and to follow them, their true core values and their purpose, and to live a sense of fulfillment, of happiness. Coming back to where we started, thinking about the fact that everyone has powerful internal resources. You have internal powerful resources. You have that gift given to you. And coming back to that proverb, that saying, everyone is gifted, only few open the package. I want to ask you, what are you doing with your gifts? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Margareta, for this insightful presentation and for the thoughts that you have generated in our minds. So we will continue in a couple of seconds with the questions.
Thank you.
Well, we are back with the questions to continue our discussions about coaching. And in this regard, I was listening to the presentation and I was imagining myself already in a coaching session. And my questions in mind were like, what could be those powerful questions that would be used by a coach in this session? So I'd like you to help me to understand this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Svetlana, for this great question. You know, in coaching, a question becomes powerful when it is asked at the right time in the conversation, and when it's in the right place of the thinking process that the coachee goes through. I can't say that there are powerful questions which are made in advance. I mean, there are some, but coaches cannot use them as a script, because that would not be helping the coachee. The most important thing is to come up with the question at the right moment. And in coaching, the process basically, in a way, is also directed by the discussion, by the coachee. The coach is there only to listen very carefully to what the person has, and of course using coaching models and tools and techniques to guide this. I would not even use the word guide, to facilitate the conversation so that the coachee can learn about themselves as much as they can in that specific situation, and to come up with options of how to move forward based on those understandings that they get during the session, and also to come up with a plan of how to move forward, also to come up with a plan on how to stay committed to fulfill all those ideas, or the ones that the person chooses to work on in the future, and how to make sure that they fulfill their goal and their objective. And yeah, that's what makes questions to be powerful. They come up, you know, I now see this in my mind as a river, basically a coaching process, being a river which flows on a very flat terrain, in a very calm way, and it builds up, you know, starting from a very small source, it builds up towards being larger and larger. And the following questions come up based on the input that the coachee brings in, based on what the person says, what is taking place in their mind at that specific moment. So that's when a question is powerful.
I see. And now, considering the region we are, the culture of the society, the habits of the people to use the practice of coaching or mentoring or counseling or addressing to a specialist. So I would like you to ask you to help us to understand better what's the difference and in which situation do we address to coach. So what's the difference between counseling, mentoring, coaching, so that clearly everybody understands that I go to coach today, because it seems that it's the situation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this question, Svetlana. Yeah, you know, by the way, during one of our committees at the Human Resources Committees at the MCHM, we had a beautiful presentation on mental health, which was made by a therapist, by psychologists.
Yes.
And I was thinking, you know, indeed, how important it is to feel the difference of the need when to use the resources that a therapist can help you with, and in which situation to get the help of a coach, for instance. And of course, yeah, it's such an interesting point which you made. What is the difference between coaching and mentoring? So I'll start with coaching and mentoring. So basically, a mentor is a person who has a huge experience, a huge background, and
Professional background.
Professional background, life as well. And the person is sharing their knowledge on what to do and how to do. And well, if a person needs an answer,
he goes to a mentor.
Yeah, an answer to be told by somebody else, then he would go to a mentor. I'm not sure, actually going to a mentor, I'm not sure if you would actually go to a mentor. We have mentors around. Of course, sometimes we have mentors whom we work on a regular basis. However, there are so many resourceful people around us from whom we can get mentorship on a regular basis as well. So if the person, though, is looking for growth in respect of personal growth and looking into themselves and understanding what are those huge resources that he or she has within, building on them and working over their objectives, then the help of a coach would be beneficial, because the coach does not give answers. And as I was mentioning in my presentation as well, that really helps create lasting and sustainable change. Because when the person takes a decision by themselves, they first of all find out the resources, what they have to move forward with that thing. And they make a choice to move forward based on that learning and internal understanding they have. That's a powerful decision. And they are so committed to work over implementing that choice that they made. So yeah, that's what coaching helps with. In terms of a therapist help, if comparing coaching and therapy, it would be helpful if we drew a line, a vertical line, and think that if the issue that we have, or maybe the question, let's not call them issue, the question that you want to work on right now, if you feel that that is based on some past experiences, on trauma, for instance, on very traumatic experiences before, which build up a situation which needs help of a professional to get out of it, then a therapist is the person to go to. However, if the person wants to look into the future, so looking at that line, if you look behind and you want to resolve the issues from behind, the therapist would be the best person to go to, or specialist. However, if you look in the future, if you want to implement new ideas, if you want to look inside and see how you can move forward, get enthusiastic about it, and see the possibilities, and stay in touch with your true core values and knowing what they are and being aligned with them, identifying your purpose of life, then the coaching would be the best specialist to go to. I mean, not the best, but the coach would be the specialist to be able to help with that.
Thank you very much, Margarita, for the presentation and for this sharing of ideas and answers for the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a great experience for me.
Thank you. Thank you.